This could be interesting. You might have to edit this bit out, Greg, if you can hear me.
Nah,
Probably can't hear me.
I think I'll leave this bit in. This would be one of those little things I put at the beginning where it's all look, it's all gone pear-shaped, and oh look, he's proper frozen now. Oh well, he's gone. He'll be back.
I just don't.
Okay, so here we are. Redaction, week 10. We're going into this final week, and we have a special guest with us here this week. Steve, welcome.
Hi everyone.
Hi, Steve.
So yeah, Jez and Matt, as always, we've made it through
Yeah.
the season.
Sorry about that.
Right, so we got a lot to cover, I think, today. So we're gonna start with the games in week 9 first to have a little look over. Obviously, Matt's got lots of blanks here because he was stuck on a motorway last week, waiting for his car to get chopped up and scrapped.
Right, here we go. Right, 6.5 hours for the RAC to come out, who then promptly said, "It's fuck, mate."
I love those technical assessments.
Yeah, that was basically it. That was it. So I got home at like 5 to midnight last week with spent the last week buying a car. So I've got a brand new car sat outside. But what a palaver.
Tremendous. Every cloud.
Yeah.
Right, we'll move on from that then, Matt. We're glad you made it back this time. So we are going to kick off with our Monday night football game, as always. All I've got to do is find the right window. So we had a close one here. So, the Old Town Warriors. Anyone still happy to see that? But this is their 4th week, and I think we're covering them in week 10 as well because they've got another game that's impacting this week. So 5 weeks worth of coverage in a row for this team. And what did we get to? There we go. No, that's the other one. We're going to have
Down the bottom, near the second from bottom.
22 plays 3. So
The Warriors smashed it.
another scintillating scoreline.
That's a bit of an alarming resurgence, seeing it's my critical opponents this week. But yeah, maybe he's turned it around at completely the wrong time.
26 carries for 67 yards with a 2.6 average says you might be all right, Steve. But yeah, it's Stingrays rebuilding team, it would appear. If you can't stop the Warriors, then it must be bad.
They didn't do too badly. I mean, they are a completely rebuilding team, aren't they? So they didn't do too badly. They put up same number of yardage, a few more first downs. Gave away too many turnovers, but then so did the Warriors. Scoreline doesn't sort of reflect the general stats of the game, unless the Warriors picked up a load of yardage on special teams. And of course, it depends what end of the pitch those turnovers were. If they're on their own goal line, then it makes it a lot easier to convert them.
Yeah, definitely. And the only other thing I noticed as well, it was this wide receiver that picked up a big injury was still in. So
he had a D or something, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah, something like that. what was it? Interceptions. What was it? Drives. So is this the classic of
That's the interception
interception and then on the
on their 1 yard line.
Yeah, so that's the short drive. One for an 80-yarder from a kickoff. So, right, okay. Anything else on Monday Night Football? These glamour ties that we cover each week.
we get so excited about Monday Night Football, don't we? We really dig deep into these games.
Yep. Right. So
Interestingly,
go on.
before we move on, how many attributes have the Warriors picked up with all these Monday night games? Have they picked any up at all?
Oh yeah, we said we'd have a little look at that.
It's a good shout.
To see if it's actually any benefit whatsoever.
No.
3.
Oh dear.
So we can say Tide would have picked that one up from just being drafted by the looks of it.
That's week 0 is drafted as.
Yeah.
So the whole season he's picked up 2. and he's had 3 Monday Night Football games, I think.
Even his attack.
That is the
It
one that's for defensive end, isn't it?
It's pass rush, isn't it?
Yeah, pass rush.
Yeah. That's a nice one to have. You've picked up a few there, Greg. That's nice.
Did I, or did I just draft a lot of? So I've picked up 1, 2, 3, 4. I've only picked up 4 during the season, and we're playing quite a few of them. So yeah, it's not great. Maybe they've dialed it down a little bit. Who knows? Right, so that was a 322. We were nowhere near with that at all, Jez.
No.
I said 322.
Oh, did you?
That's what I said.
Oh,
Yeah,
we thought you did, Matt.
Yeah. Didn't you hear me? Hear me say that one?
We'll give you that one then. All right.
You said 322 because that was the time you were estimated to get home in the morning.
That was the time I broke down, actually.
Right, so we are going to move over to our game of the week before we have a little look at the race to 6th. So this game we called as being reasonably close. It looked like it was a good return fixture after the first one was a 3-pointer, and
well, you thought it was going to be reasonably close. I didn't.
You're only a score out, weren't you?
No.
31.
Oh, that one.
24.
I thought you were looking at the Mag Sun Devils.
No.
You've skipped over.
We're going to go this one first, then
All right.
go back to the race to 6th.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was one that I found quite quickly, and so here we go. 13-28 to the Redcoats. Redcoats are back.
Boom. Big win, this one. Statement win.
This was massive, yeah.
And what I particularly liked about it was Brad's 4th down call in there. Went for it 4 times and got them all.
Well, it's pretty possible he's got 2 good running backs, so he should be making lots of 4th and 1s.
Yeah, his running game did the business. The whole running game averaged 6.7 per carry. So it was too good.
Seems his defense has definitely declined from last year. Was it 4 shutouts last year?
Yeah, I think, well, 3 of those were against the Meerkats, I think. So.
Yeah, 3 of those were Meerkats.
Oh yeah, they don't count. Yeah, they don't count. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
He didn't shut them out in the playoffs, did he? I think we thought he might go for a hat trick of shutouts, but he did. Definitely both of the season games were shutouts, weren't they?
Yes, they were. Yes.
I think you're right, though. I think his defence isn't as strong as it was last year. I think it was really strong last year. I think it's fallen off a little bit this year. But the Redcoats are improving as well, because they were decent last year and they had a relatively, a much younger roster. So aging would have been kinder on them. But they were on an upward curve anyway. And that Pippa looks pretty tasty.
Yeah, he's actually torn through the Outlaws in this game, hasn't he? 233 yards, a 7.1 average.
I mean, Down did as well. He just didn't get as many carries. You'd still take 6.2 as an average off your top running back, wouldn't you? So.
Into your fullback as well. Down's a halfback. Yeah, Down's a halfback. I traded Down away, so.
What else we've got going on in here? Nothing too spectacular on the special teams either, by the looks of it.
No, James lost a few turnovers, which wouldn't have helped. A couple more turnovers than the Redcoats.
It's just that reversal, changing from losing a close one away, and then you move to home, and then your home field advantages made a difference.
Yeah. Redcoats didn't even bother trying to pass, though. Well, 9 attempts, 5 completions for 41 yards. And when you've got 2 backs like that, then why bother?
84% completion on the other quarterback. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. He's had a good season, Volko.
Yep. Volko to Monet has definitely been a combination that's been working well for James. But he's had a few close calls now. Maybe this team's starting to have a little bit of a waver, which is good, because if they're on the downswing, I can go on the upswing now. We can miss each other again and blame each other for not having equal rosters and having a decent game together. So.
Do you remember what an upswing feels like, Greg?
Do you know what? I don't think I do at the moment. It's
been a while, eh?
It has, yeah, it has. I was thinking about that today, about how much greyer my hair looks since I first started thinking, oh, this will be fun. But now I've got the draft picks out of the way, I'm like, oh, is it really going to take me another 4 seasons to do this? Anyway, yes, this was a great win for Brad. It sounds like he's happy to be on the winning side of things again for the first time in a while. And that one also propelled him up to top of the division. So he's now sitting in number 4 spot, I think it would be.
Oh, I think it's 4th. Could be wrong now.
No, it'd be third, just ahead of the Blues. So yeah, nice, good stuff. Well done, Brad. Well deserved win there. And it definitely wasn't as close as I think we thought it would be as well. Right, so we're going to get on to the main business now. And we've got Steve here, General's head coach, So you're in one of the most entertaining races to a single playoff spot that I've seen in this game in a very long time. How's it
Yeah,
feeling being in it?
it really is fun. Yeah, and I mean, even the last couple of games where I mean, what I did at the start of the season was change formation on defense. So I've played a 3-4 for an awful long time, but I thought, no, I'm going to get 4-3 a go. So yeah, obviously that hits you for a while. So I expected it to be somewhat of a transition season. I expected maybe 6-4, maybe 5-5. But of course, the way it's fallen across the rest of the league, rest of the conference, it's just been fascinating. Yeah, this is where you start scratching your head about the third, the team finishing in third and where they fall in the tiebreaker, don't they? I think I'm right in saying that third place team on is it possible for all of the 4 and 5 teams to win? I think it is, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. I don't think anyone's playing anybody, and then that takes us on to
Yes. I
what
was
we've got
wondering
there.
about it because I think the third place teams are toast because they're not going to be qualifying with another wild card in their same division. But maybe I've got the rules wrong on that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's
If you go to the standings, Greg,
yeah.
'cause I think that's where it might affect the Scorps because they're third in their division at the moment. Obviously, if Chickerell don't win, then obviously they'll move up to second. But that's where it could potentially, if they both win,
Yeah, so
that could screw them a bit.
so in theory,
Mm.
we have 6 teams going for one playoff spot, or have the ability to go for one playoff spot here, don't we? So we've got the Anacondas still, 4 and 5, Kings, Barbarians, Generals, Scorpions, and Sun Devils.
Yeah.
I think what you're getting at there, Steve, is if Sun
Yeah.
Devils.
So I think if all 5 were to win and end up on 5 and 5, then the Scorpions will be out and the Barbarians will be out, regardless of their points differentials, because they'll have finished third in a division where the wild card hasn't come from. The other wild card hasn't come from. So, but of course that assumes that everyone's going to win. But yeah, Amazon can get in behind Alberta because Alberta are going to be wild card A. That's my reading of the rules anyway. So because Alberta are wild card A, that means Amazon could qualify. But then they're on minus 37, so that might be tricky.
And they've got Magpies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the ones I put into the mix for this week were the ones that were the closest on a kind of a mathematical position, I guess. We'll get to them in a minute. So, but it has changed quite a bit because we had Sun Devils, we had Generals, and we had Anacondas. And when we go into week 10, we've only still got the Generals in here because we then had the Kings and the Barbarians with their wins, pushing them back into that playoff picture in that 6 to 8 spot. So let's have a look at the Generals game then, and you can give us a little bit of a rundown, Steve.
Yeah. So my problems this season, particularly on offense, have been too many turnovers. But I suppose everyone could say that, can't they? Too many turnovers and inability to punch it in the red zone. Now, I don't know whether it's just the disease of having a run flat offense, but I just can't seem to bloody score in the red zone. But you'll note that I'm actually fairly pleased with both of the both of the last two games, because they were tough. They were at Forgotten in this game, and at Matt's team in the previous week, the Stampede, and we beat the spread.
You gave us probably the hardest game we've had apart from playing the Avalanche.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
pass defense is good. Your pass defense is good.
yeah, and it's beating the spread both times. That's telling you you're going in the right direction. So yeah, this one was a good game. It's a good game throughout. I was in it throughout. Just a couple of bits of bad luck, and key turnovers were the difference. But I mean, I've had a very good year coaching. The preseason, the mid-season agent report ain't bad either. So I think for a transition year, this is probably good. I'm really happy with the way it's gone. Now, obviously, I still want that playoff spot. So, but yeah, the last two games I've been relatively happy with, even though both losses.
Yeah, no, that's
To be
good
honest, to hold Minty to under 200 yards is phenomenal, even if he is carrying an injury.
Yeah.
Delivery game is 250, over 250 plus or something crazy. You only got, was it 9 catches you got? It didn't wasn't even a lot, was it, for him? Yeah, that's low for him. So, and as I said, I found your pass D when I was playing here to be the best pass day I've played all season, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
And it
I'm
must have
sort
been
of
a
hoping
while
if
since. Sorry, Matt. It must have been a
No, go
while
on.
since the last time that a team held do to a passer rating of 61, as low as 61.
Yeah, that's pretty low. I mean, I generally play the heroes pretty well. I mean, interestingly, it's my former team, so I still think of them as the Hellzone heroes. But yeah, I beat them twice in my division championship season last season, and the first of those games featured 3 pick sixes, which I think you mentioned on Redaction, and that was just like hilarious to watch. Really, really funny. But yeah, did the double over them that time. They've done the double over me this season, but we do play close games. Bitter rivals, that obviously keeps it relatively close.
Yeah, it always adds an element of spice, doesn't it? Bitter rivalry stuff. You're just never quite sure how it's gonna get in there. But yeah, no, it's great having that kind of context as well, and shifting the defense from one to another. It's the same with any formation, right? It's trying to go from one to the other and then work out all the intricacies of it. And I think Matt's been through the same, right? Going from a pure running kind of approach to doing some passing now. And you're on mute.
Sorry. Right, I was coughing. No, I was on I-form and then I've been on to pistol this year. I'm still keeping I-form, but Galloway's got the I-form and the pistol attribute as well as the ace, so it means I can switch between the three of them. So next year I might even run ace as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, keeps it livens it up, doesn't it? Gives you something else to have a little look at, and again, reread the manual, all that sort of stuff.
Never read the manual.
Yeah. I hear it,
There's a manual?
I hear it's a good read. LJE says it's the only way. It's the only way. Read the manual. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, 3-2 loss, but like you say, still in with a shout. Did we have that? No, we did. We were. I don't know what we were smoking last week, Jez, but we're absolutely
nowhere near. We were a bit punchy on that one, weren't
we? Yeah.
I think I said 12-3, didn't I? Didn't I say 12-3?
Oh, fuck off, Cooper.
How many How many times did you break down, Matt? And at what times did you break down? Right,
312.
312, 322, something like that. Somewhere within that bracket. Let's hope we don't have any other score lines that start with a 3. I should be claiming those as well. Right, so Matt, we'll have a look at the Avalanche against the Anacondas next. So 2 of your division rivals there.
The Wounded Snakes.
The Wounded Snakes, yeah.
Didn't Dave pick up more injuries, or am I dreaming that one?
Oh,
Probably.
well, it wouldn't be
Poor sod.
it wouldn't be a surprise, would it? Let's
I
have a
think
look.
he did. I'm sure he
Let's have a
picked up
look.
another injury.
Yeah, he got another D on a cornerback. Special
Oh.
team, though.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Was it this guy, Oladowa Ginbo?
Oladabanimbo. Him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he is playing in first team as well. In his nickel defense.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, another injury. Maybe he's
That's
playing
probably
in.
why he got injured. If he's playing in the start in the set formation and on special teams, kids
Yeah.
getting rinsed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what does that injury report look like? Oh, when you get into the end of the season, and you're hoping some of those other coaching attributes have kind of kicked in as well. You know, because most people are either doing that fatigue or they're doing injury reduction. And you think to yourself, it'll be all right by week 10. Be all right by week 10. Look at the state of that. It's disgusting, isn't it? All those recoveries as well.
It's filthy.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't got any Fs anymore, but his Fs are Ds now. So
That's 10 injury recoveries in week 9.
10.
That must be record. Yeah, 10.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
8 in the top and 2 in the bottom. So it's 10 injury recoveries in 1 week. It's just well his coaches are good. Trainers are good.
10 recoveries and he's still down 18 levels.
Yeah.
Is it 18 or 15 or something?
Yeah, this injury list, I think, for the Anacondas is going to go down in history for just how bad it's been this season. And then just to make it worse, even with the Avalanche having both of their starting RBs still crocked and out, sitting on the injured reserve as well. Do you know many people have a third string running back they bring in and they just decide to knock out a 5.6 average?
But was that because Dave was playing against the pass? I don't think that running back's that great.
He did that the week before, though, didn't he?
He did. He had a good.
The same the week before.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dave's got to look at him there. But yeah, it's a good point, Greg. He's the third choice running back. So to be putting it in, and Condas, I know Condas are beat up, but you know they've still got the basis of a good side. I forget who Avalanche played last week.
It was the Sun Devils, I believe.
Sun Devils, okay, yeah. So they're no mugs either. And he averaged about the same against them, about 4 or 5 yards a carry, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe
This
so.
lad,
yeah.
Third choice running back, he's all right. That's some pretty good depth on the old running game roster there.
I don't think he's that high a level, to be honest. Hill was advertised at the end of this. I'm sure Johnny put Hill up for trade, and I'm sure he was only level 14 or something like that. So if he's behind him, I'm dreaming that. As you know, you write every player level down off the trade board, don't you?
No. I'm not that sad. I'm quite sad. I'll give you that, but I'm not that sad.
Yeah. So I mean,
Well, whatever level he is, he's pulling in 5 yards of carry for the third choice running back, which I'd take that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Very true.
And again, it may just be that this again is showing us maybe that offensive line that the Avalanche have is the bit that's doing the heavy lifting for the run game, maybe.
The O line
potentially.
is obviously brilliant. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
But yeah, the more because you're an original Atlantic starting coach as well, aren't you, Steve? So you were back here in the day when Dave was winning bowls and things like that was as well, weren't you?
That's right. Yeah, I took him on in one of them. Yeah, it was 1 point win, I think. Season 11. Yeah. So there's not many original set. I mean, obviously, I was in the GFL for a while, but there's not many season 6 originals left, are there? Just trying to think how many.
No, not many at all. So you got Mark still. Was he was an
Clay.
original, wasn't he?
Clay.
Yeah, Clay. Mark at the Tigers.
Richard Klein was here in week 6, season 6, but with a different team.
Was Dave there as well? Dave Gaskell?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think he was.
There. And then we've got Ian at the Aztecs. I think he there as well, right from the off.
Yes, and Michael.
Yeah, and Michael. So yeah, a few there.
Was Lee as well? I know he's gone and come back.
Yeah.
Yes, I think Lee was. Yeah.
Yep. Here we go.
Yeah,
Still a few there, knocking around.
And maybe was Aid there as well? I can't remember.
Yes, Aid was.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if
few
this was.
in.
Yeah. So there's a few stayed the course, and then a few that have come and gone, but are back in there now. What was it going on that one? Yeah. So in the comments after the game, this was the bigger thing is it definitely sounds like Johnny's talking about going. Obviously Dave's had a frustrating season, so I'm in an ahhing about that as well. So hopefully Dave is going to stick around, but it does.
But to be honest, I won't blame him. Good team. It's a good team he's got. He's just been unlucky with injuries this year. So
yeah,
running back, see what you could do with that them injuries.
Yeah. I mean, what's it? They're 4 times on the bounce now, aren't they? Having made the bowl. You ruined
Denver
this.
Broncos are good.
But Buffalo Bills, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. How many did Denver lost a few, didn't they? No, Bills. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
They won a few as well, but yeah, the Bills are 0-4, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to make a general point about this, Greg, and it sort of touches on the conversation I know we've got on the agenda later.
Yeah.
But I think if there is a bit of a hiatus, it might actually be good for people who are considering quitting, because they might think, well, if I've just got a bit of a break anyway, maybe I'll miss the game and maybe I will want to play again next season. Whereas if you've gone straight into the next season as as might otherwise have happened, then you might make that decision to change. So, I mean, I personally hope Johnny hangs around because, he's been good for the conference.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, we'll come back onto that then as we go. But another good result for the Avalanche, and Anacondas get the loss, but technically still 4 and 5 and still could make the playoffs. And then the last one we'll have a look at was the Sun Devils. So they had a great game, I think, the week before.
Did we get anywhere near that score on that game?
Which one? The Anacondas one. I definitely did not.
You didn't. You went
look
with the
like
Crocs.
38-16,
38,
and you had
16.
38-13.
Whoa, that wasn't bad.
That's not bad. You were
I'm
definitely
taking
more
that
on
one.
it. Definitely. So we've got the Sun Devils. We're going to have a little look at, because they kept themselves in with a shout, I think, with that win against the Tigers the previous week. Came up against the Magpies, and do you know what? They were close. They were close again. Dave's well, he's another 4 and 5 team, but you looking at what he had past 2 games coming into those, potentially he would have been out of it already. So it was a good result against the Tigers, and then this one to come close as well. And he's lost the turnover battle in this game as well, so it's got to be a bit of a gutter.
It's turnover when it's only 5 points and you've 3 more turnovers than the Oppo, then that's what's killed you there, isn't it? And they did so well because they shut them out in the second half. I don't think Magpies have been shut out in a half all season. So yeah, some comments in there about fake punts.
That's what I was just looking at. I was reading those. I thought a fake field goal stroke punt was a myth. I've never known what happened in any of my games.
I had it happen in one of my games. I don't know if it was last season or the season before, and it completely fucked up. It was in the wrong position. There's no way on earth anyone in their right mind would have called a fake at that point. So I just went back through my game plans and switched them all off because it was ridiculous.
Go and look at the play-by-play, Greg, on that one.
Yeah,
because it is bizarre. Like trying to fake field goal inside your 20, basically. It's not going to work.
Was it at the end of the game?
Yeah, 55-50.
55-50.
Okay, so he's on his own 20-yard line.
Fake field goal on his own 20. You see, that's what I mean.
I mean, Ricky's called it there. I mean, that's definitely a key game moment.
Yeah, what? And the defence didn't buy that. The defence could see right through that, could they? Can't believe it.
Offensive coach has been doing white lines through the game and just gone, yeah, let's just do a fake field goal on our own 20.
Fake punt, maybe. I mean, even a fake punt on your own 20 is a bit punchy, but that's the one you'd go for, not a fake field goal.
You can just imagine that in real life, can't you? That their kicker comes onto the field with a 85-yard field goal to make.
Yeah, all the D
Imagine
lining
him
up,
imagine,
up, and then going, I think it might be a fake.
and the kicker's taking a couple of practice swings with his leg, yeah, just lining it up there, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wind, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think a fake field goal is best hidden when you're trying to kick an 85-yard field goal. I think someone's is probably gonna call bullshit on that and go, I don't think we need to block anything here, boys. Just drop back and cover the pass. But yeah, that is very bizarre. Very bizarre. And then that followed up with an actual blocked field goal because the Magpies couldn't shift it, which then did give them one last chance to see if they could shift it down the field. But nothing happened again.
Went for it on 4th and 20. That they had to at that point.
Yeah.
You know, as a little bit of an aside, you know, you guys had the conversation about how I previewed that I'll be doing my special teams play in that particular game. Well, I think it would be nice if they linked that to a fake. You know, if rather than just it's always on a kickoff return for me. It's always like somebody gets 25 yards instead of 20 or something. But if that was actually linked to the fake, I think that would be a lot more interesting because it's once per season. So, you know, once per season you can automatically run a fake. I think that might be quite fun, but obviously it would need a fair bit of coding if you were to bring that in.
Yeah, not on your own 20-yard line though, eh?
Yeah.
Hey, you know when I was calling plays for my football team, I actually ran a reverse on the goal line.
How did that
It
go?
worked. Got to the halfway line. Nobody's expecting it. Never do it again because it was just an awful. It was like, why are you running reverse? Well, I thought it'd be good.
Yeah.
Did you have your kicker on the field like in this case?
No, I didn't know.
The element of surprise.
Oh dear. Yeah. No, I always imagine like, you know, special, you know, that special teams tick box, and you're thinking, you know, when you've seen some of those ones over the years, like some of those college ones are great, where they've had one. Have you seen the one where the guy's laying down in the end zone because he's on a section of the end zone that's painted the same color as the kit, so you literally just don't see him, and so this they're kicking it into the end zone, and then all of a sudden he pops up and then runs it back because everyone thought it was just going to go for a dead ball or whatever. And you just think, you know, that's what I want. That's what I want
Brilliant.
my special teams to look like. I want it to look like that. And then you get, oh, that's a special teams play being pulled off there. Spitfires have managed to stop the return for a 0 gain. And you're just like, is that it? Is that it? I've just stopped someone who normally returns it 10 yards to nothing.
What you want is Spitfire's returner went into camouflage mode, hiding in the end zone.
Oh, absolutely, and you want that one where it's like it's that fake punt with 2 minutes left on the clock or 2 seconds left on the clock, and then, you know, it's like 20 flea flickers later, and, you know, you've managed to get it down the field and get a score. But
Yeah. There's no spiking in this game either, so you can't have a fake spike either.
yeah, they don't. They just flop, don't they? They
There's
just flop.
flops.
We just flop.
Yeah. Take a knee. Fake flop. Let's have a fake flop.
Right, so 15-10, nice close game, but Dave didn't get the same rub of the green he got against the Tigers week 4. So I think I backed Dave on this one, 24-21. So we were both well off with that one.
I got the right result, but nowhere near the score.
Yeah.
Matt, you said 10-15, didn't you?
No, you said
5-10. No, that was what time. I think that was what time the RAC was supposed to be coming, the 5th time they were supposed to be coming.
All right, so there we go. That wraps up our race to 6 on week 9. And so this is the race to 6 going into week 10. And the consistent part here is the generals and Steve still in with the leading the way there. But the other two popped into this. So we talked about the Barbarians and the Kings a little bit, just being sitting in that 9th and 10th spot. And now they're sitting in that 7th and 8th picture. So we're going to cover those games off this time around.
Mm.
It's complicated when Fred's had to copy the rules onto the thing.
Oh, yeah.
This is good. No, this is good prep. Someone's actually done some work
I know.
in looking into this beforehand. Well done, Greg.
Well,
Yeah.
somebody told me I had a special visitor coming, so I thought I'd better do a bit of hoovering, a little bit of tidying up. Get it all ready, make it look like we actually know what we're talking about.
Steve, you
some
are
of
a
the
good
time.
influence on this pod, mate. Look what you're doing.
So, but first of all, as always, Monday Night Football. Redaction, only place to come and see Monday Night Football. Thank the Lord it's our last one of the season. It's the Blues
Oh yeah.
at the Bears for their sins. So we'll have a little look at that one quickly. Blues have clinched their division. They've got the C up against their name. Bay Bears are done for playoff contention.
But how insane is that quarterback?
Yeah.
And
Their
their wide
passing game.
receiver, last week was it 500 yards or something crazy?
Meacham. Yeah.
It was something ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. I was like, he's going to break the game at this rate with that.
What he put up 495 last week.
495.
Bonkers.
That's some madness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how far away is he from?
Well, on offense, he's there. He hasn't got a running game, but you don't really need a running game when you're just throwing bombs like that and you're putting up that sort of yardage.
Maybe.
I mean, he can't be that high a level, can he? Isn't he age 1? He was
Age
only
1, but he's
drafted at
elite. So
Was he elite?
he's
Oh,
elite.
so he's probably 20 then, at level 20 then.
So he'll be at least 17, if not 18 by now. Possibly more if he aged well.
Look at the number of attempts. That's crazy.
Oh, he's age 2, so he could well be 20 plus by now.
Age 2? I thought it was age 1.
Meacham's 2 seasons.
Oh, Meacham. Oh, right. So I thought it was about the quarterback stuff.
Yeah. I see that quarterback's got Res and Res 2, which might be playing into his favour if the Bears have been behind in games. Because I think if you're losing by 8 points, that kicks in your favour, doesn't it? And then if you're winning, then it kicks in the other way, giving you higher auto incomplete and interception chances. So that might be something that's helping them in this season. Because again, these are a 4-5 team, I think. So does pass beat run a lot of the time in this game?
Used
Not
to.
normally.
Used to. I'm not. The jury's out, I think, now, to them. That's why I've moved away from the run a bit to the pass.
Yeah, I think the difference is that you still have that element there. You've got Angel sitting there and if you need it as a valve, you've got it. And I think the difference here with the Bears is that they don't have it. I mean, they've #1 offense, but a total of -6 yards rushing for the season. Says they haven't got anything there that, you know, you could start on, you know, your own 20 every game, and if you get into that red zone, get down into that 10 yards, and then you don't make it, and all you're doing is kicking a field goal or throwing an interception in the end zone, you can rack up yards and yards, but you don't win anything for getting yards, right?
He's got the #1 offense there, but that's is it the #1 offense? It's the #1 pass offense, but it's not really the #1 offense. You need a balanced offense, I think. No, I think it's been the rules have been adjusted so you need more of a balance than you used to. I used to just run the ball to death, and that used to work, but I don't think you can do that now. I don't think you can run or pass exclusively. I think you've got to have a bit of balance.
Mm.
The thing is, you put all your eggs in one basket. So if you get a key, an injury to a key player, like if you're a purely passing team like Kendall's, if your quarterback gets injured, you're fucked. If your main wide receiver gets injured, you're fucked. If you've got a more balanced attack, then you can lean one way or the other if you get an injury to a key player. So it's you literally put all your eggs in one basket. You can win a bowl by doing single zone stuff, but it's just higher risk, I think.
Yeah. So this week, Monday Night Football, Bears were the 10th place drafting team, so this is why they've got it. They've actually got it at home, which is nice for them. The spread on this one is the Blues by 8. Carl with a B. One of the Blues starting CBs has got a G, which when you're playing this passing team, you probably do not want to see. So yeah, let's do a little bit of prediction fun.
How is the Blues pass defense?
Pass D is 9th.
9th.
Yeah,
That's just #2 defense. #2 defense.
#2 defense. Yeah. Right.
The #1 offense. What's #2 D?
So, who wants to give us a little call on this one then? For our last Monday Night Football game of the season.
Let Steve go first. Come on, Steve. Show us how it's done.
Yeah, go on, Steve.
I'm going to go for the upset then. Because I like Kendall's style. So I'm going for 24-21.
To the Bears, yeah?
The Bears, yeah.
Awesome. Locked in. Jez?
I am also going for the Baby Bears, and I'm going to say 18-35.
Matt?
Right. I think the Blues will be resting up, because does it matter to them whether they get the #3 or the #4 seed? It doesn't. They can't get a 1 or a 2. They've already won the division. So I will go with 48 to the Bears, 10 to the Blues.
Was that 10-38, did you say?
48.
48.
48.
Yeah, I just think the Blues. There's nothing for the Blues to play for, so I think they might have the reserves out.
Yep. Yeah. 14. Proper smash 'em. Right.
Boom.
Okay. Right. So on to the serious stuff here now. Race to 6. So we've got we've got a little bit of this on the MFC side of things, which we could cover off first if you want, because I think there's only one game on that side. Let me bring up the standings again, because I think from what I've looked at here, MFC is pretty much done for who's making postseason. There's not going to be any surprises that comes out of this. Based on the points difference that the Rapiers, Outlaws, and Redcoats have, whichever way those 7 and 2 teams go, if the Sonics win, there's just too much to make up.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it?
I can't see any difference there. It's
Yeah.
just who wins the MFC North and what order they sort of fall in on the seedings.
Yeah, I think the closest that the Sonics have got is if they win their game, and if the Rapiers lose, they've got something. They've got to turn around. I think it's like a 90-ish deficit, which I don't think is going to happen. So this is the game. This is the game here that is really going to make the difference. Who's going in 5th? Who's going in 6th? And if things were to go the right way for the Outlaws, then potentially if they win this, Redcoats lose, they could jump the 4th. But I think the Redcoats are probably looking sweet for getting that C next to their name and taking the division for the first time in a while. So Outlaws and Rapiers is our go-to in the MFC for our race to 6th. We were talking a bit about the Outlaws defense, and they're sitting there saying they're number 1 overall again.
Yeah, but they've let 159 points in. Does that scream of a number 1 defence to you? No. To me.
Well, is it schedule?
Aye. You look at the schedule, they played the Meerkats, played the Spitfires, which you know is an absolute walkover.
Can't disagree.
Played the Cyclones, so they're three relatively games.
Yeah, you've got the Blues, they've got the Avalanche there, and 2 against the Redcoats. So it looks reasonably balanced.
Yeah, there's a mixture of fixtures, isn't there?
So it's a strange one, really. Saying it's strong, saying it's still got a good offense. It just makes you, what else does it come down to?
It just means they've been carved up on the ground rather than in the air, because the passing yards are so much more than the rushing yards. So if you're a passing team, you get your defense or your offense looks better, and same with the defense. If you get run on, then you're not getting passed, and it makes it look like you've got a really good pass defense. But you might be getting run on because you're playing running teams. That's all.
Yeah, and we saw that from last week's game against the Redcoats, didn't we? That that was a run fest for the Redcoats. But yeah, these 2 teams coming into this, Outlaws with an estimated spread of 7. Injuries aren't looking too bad for the Outlaws. Just a few niggles for the Rapiers there.
It's a name for his returner, isn't it? Deathstroke. Bloody hell.
Actually, if you look at the Rapier's schedule, though, they've had a pretty easy schedule. The games they've won are against a lot of rebuilding teams, or then they lost to Long Beach and got hammered by Jez's team. Not really had a tough schedule. Looking at it,
No, not really.
no,
Yeah, nothing's jumping out there, is it?
no.
Right. Any other thoughts before we try and put a little number against this one?
Nah, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go first. I think it's gonna be 35-10 to the Outlaws. Still think the Outlaws are in decline, but I just don't see much from that. Looking at their Rapier's schedule.
I think on the basis it's gonna be a road game. I think it'll still be reasonably tight, so I'll go 28-21, but still back the Outlaws to make that one.
Oh,
And
someone's
Jez?
gone all Dalek.
He's gone paused. He's paused.
Oh, he's frozen.
I hope.
Yeah, it's Greg, isn't it? Yeah. I think the rest of us are okay.
Oh, he's back.
I'm
No, he's
back, am
not.
I?
Is he?
Okay.
He's back. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
back.
He's back. There we go. Yeah, right. Cool.
You go and put another 2p in your internet.
Right. So
Right. I suppose I should have used that delay to work out what score I was going to predict. I'm going 21-7.
21-7.
And I'm going to go 20-13. I'll go bang on the spread.
Bang on the spread. That's what I like. Right. Okay, so we all think James is going to get this one. I mean, to be fair, Rapiers, this is a caretaker coach, right? You're not allowed to make the playoffs. So he's already failed
Too late.
the mission of making the playoffs. There will be words be had. Look, if you're going to fly you in, Rich, you really got to try harder to get these, get these teams not making the playoffs. We can't have that. Anyway, right. So that's it then. MFC's done and dusted. So we're back on to where all the action is, which is on the CFC side again. Where do you want to start, Steve? Where do you want to start?
Well, let's do it in seed order, current seed order, yeah.
Okay.
For so I'm in the box seat at 6th at the moment.
Yep, let's do that. There we are, coming in against the Warriors.
Yeah. So I've got a current points differential of -1 on the season. And I'm scheduled. The spread says I'm going to win this game by, I think it's 14 or 15.
Yeah, 14.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
14. Yeah. Now, I think that I've had a very tough schedule, and I think as a result of that schedule, I think the spread has been pretty stingy against me. And as I say, I've just beaten the spread in the last 2 games. So I'm saying I'm going to beat the spread again and win this one by 20.
Win it by 20.
Famous last one.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
I like confidence. I like the confidence. I think as well. We were talking about, Matt's been talking about your pass defense as well, and Uji has been kind of go-to for the Warriors as well. There, he's got a D.
Good on a D, yeah.
Not really see much else from their offense again. So on that basis of, you're shutting down some good pass offenses as well. You could be
And
shutting them down pretty good.
he's got 3 cornerbacks on a C as well. So their pass
Right.
defense is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, my pass offense is pretty good. It's it's tolerably good anyway.
Yeah.
So I think
You've got some gaps to attack there, haven't you?
yeah. So I think I can win this one by 20. Now that still might not be enough. Depends on Clay.
Yes. Right. So, do we want to call this then? We've got the inside info here, so
Yeah, let's
we'll
do
just
it.
go straight to it. So, by 20, Steve. So, what are you feeling on a score?
I'll say 30-10.
Nice. Jez or Matt?
I think
Go on,
it'll be a bit more than that. I think those injuries are going to hurt the home side. So I'm going 38-7.
38-7.
Mm.
Okay, I'm just going to call because I've got one in my head. I think it's shutout time.
Ooh.
You weren't going to go for a shutout, were you, Matt? Because if you were, I'm glad I got in
No.
there first.
No, I wasn't actually. I think it'll be. I actually think it might be a bit tighter. Only because that home field advantage. I'm
Yes,
gonna go 24-10. 2 scores. I think it's whether that 14 is enough. Could
yeah.
be.
So that's the spread then, Matt. So which is not unreasonable at all. It could well be that.
Yeah. What I want to know, Steve, though, is how many boxes are you going to have open? Are you just going to watch your game, or are you going to click on have all 6 games open and just click each play each time?
I think what I'm going to do is I'm certainly going to look at Clay's game first, and then watch mine, and then see what I'm up against.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Whatever you do, though, Steve, don't go into the the game report. Just watch the game and then don't go out because there'll be too many spoilers in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We
Just
don't.
watch the game and don't click on the end summary.
Yeah, we definitely
Yeah.
don't need a week full of that. Oh, so if I've lost here, that definitely means Steve's made it then, or whatever. Yeah, I've watched General's game. Congratulations, Steve. He's just like, spoiler. Yeah. Yeah, you only wait. You only get the opportunity twice a year, right? Potentially, and you get in there and someone's just gone and blown it all over. You're like, oh Christ. Another year's time. We'll see how it goes. Right. Okay. So that's that one. So we go to seed 7 then now with the Kings. So they have the Stallions, who have again this season been pretty awful. So they're 1-8. Not much of an offense, not much of a defense. What was the spread on this one? So yeah, Kings. I mean, this is calling a 22 spread on this one.
22. A few injuries in there. Both 2 DTs for the Kings on Ds there.
Yeah, there's another DT injured as well.
Only a B though.
An OG and a centre with injuries as well.
And a running back, but Snipes isn't his lead running back, is it? Or is he? Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna hurt him with Snipes on a D.
Yeah. A few little dinks.
Snipes is definitely. Snipes is not on injured reserve, so playing.
Yeah, so he might still be playing him. All right, so here we go.
Oh, refreshing.
Yeah, it was bound to happen eventually.
I think the trouble is the Stallions have been so poor on offense. It's killed them this year. The defense don't look too bad. It looks bang
Yeah.
average.
I was going to ask who their one win was against,
So
whether it was
Really asking for-
decent. Because I think they're obviously they're in a hard division.
yeah, it's against the Nighthawks.
Yeah,
Mm.
not good.
Not good at all. Signs are looking good for Clay.
Yeah.
They were in a few other games though. There was only a 1-score game against the Barbarians, 1-score game against the Islanders. Yeah, okay, that's about it.
Nice try, Jez, but unfortunately,
Sorry, Martin.
I think we are.
Can't pick you up any more than that.
No, we are just going to have to go with technical issues. Right. So, are we going to call this? Who wants to call this one? Oh, let's start with Steve. Go on, Steve. You're in the mix. Oh no, he's disappeared. He's gone.
Steve's gone. He's done
He's
a
gone.
runner.
He's gone.
Yeah. A bee came in the window. That's what you thought they'd gone to bed by now, but anyway. Yeah, I think the Kings are going to win by 30. So I'm going to say 43-10. That's 33, isn't it? But yeah, 43-10.
Kings will win, definitely. I don't think it's going to be that much. I think the injury to Snipes is going to reduce his output a bit. But I'm going to go 3-32.
Okay, Matt.
Well, I'm going to just be evil. I'm just going to go 3 Stallions, and then
Here comes his 55. His trusty
31.
55.
31 for the Kings, which would
30.
make, based on my predictions, would make it a tiebreak on point difference.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with a 10.
That's more an insight into how your mind works, Coops.
No, well, have we ever had the coin toss? Oh no, it goes on to points scored in all games, doesn't it? So that's what it goes into there.
Yeah.
Which would be
Yeah,
great.
then it goes down to number of felonies, and it'll get divided somehow, won't it?
It's coin toss.
Right.
It literally is. And so unless that lands in the crack of in a pavement, they'd have to come up with something which is coin toss until wins. But yeah, it's points difference in all games, and it's points scored, and then it's that coin toss. So
I still think strength of schedule should be in there somewhere. Personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get 3 or 4 rebuilding teams in your schedule, skews it so much.
Yeah, it does massively.
Greg's really broke it tonight. Oh,
Yeah, it's struggling a bit today. Right, so we've called that one then. And then we just have a quick look at the Barbarians one, because they're sitting in the 8th spot at the moment in the playoff picture at 4 and 5. And they've got the Tigers. So Tigers have got the division wrapped up, and Tigers have had a pretty shocking past couple of games. So they are now sitting at 6 and 3, I believe. I think 2 of those losses have come in the last 2 weeks. So they lost to the Sun Devils, and then they lost to the Kings by quite a bit in week 9. Can the
Yeah, they've
Barbarians do the same?
Tigers' season's fallen off a cliff a bit at the end there, isn't it?
But isn't that because the running backs have been injured constantly? They're both at a B now.
Mm.
I think their running games suffered and it's stagnated the offense a bit. But if Steve wins this game, Barbarians can't get in anyway, can they? So that's what we worked out, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So this one's got a spread of 15 on the Tigers. I don't know, because every time I say the Barbs will win, they lose. So maybe I just say the Barbs will lose, just go the opposite way. See if at least I can't be accused of jinxing him this time around. So yeah, this is the last one we got on here today for this. Anything you want to have a look at before we stick some scores up?
Well, the only other thing I was going to say is that the Tigers are qualified. Their seed can't change. They're going to be number 4 regardless. So, and they're going to be playing the first week of the playoffs. So, does Mark even play anybody? Any of his starters? So, no.
Yeah.
I don't think I would. It was me.
You get some funny results at the in week 10 games for those sorts of reasons, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his injury IR, he's put both his running backs are on IR, so that sort of indicates to me he's resting up.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Don't blame him. Like you say, he's definitely got to play the next week in that wild card game.
He's going to be playing the Avalanche. Yeah, he'll be playing the Avalanche.
Yeah, and when both of these RBs have been fit, that's where he's had the better results this season. All right, let's have a little
And
look
his
then.
center's injured as well.
Right, I'll call this one then. Oh no, oh dear. Do I back him again and then he's going to lose it? I think we can. I've got a good feeling about this one. I think it's still going to be close. We'll call it 24-20 to the Barbarians. Just a bit of a swing on the spread, but there's a lot of extra
21-3 to the ball. 21-3 to the Barbarians. I think the Tigers will be playing reserves.
21-3. Jez?
I'm going 17-20 overtime.
Oh, the obligatory overtime's in.
What, to the Tigers?
Yeah, 17-20.
Well, if I'd really Richard's a cool guy, and we always have really good games. So I'd love him to make it. If somehow I blow my game and Clay blows his game, so I'm saying 24-10.
Right, there we go. So they're the ones we looked at for race for 6th. I mean, there's so many in here, so many different ways this could go, but like you say, Steve, I can't see you blowing up against the Warriors. So it really comes down to this points difference, I think, doesn't it? Can the Kings blow away the Stallions 14 points better than you managed to get against the Warriors? That's what it feels like it comes down to this week, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But there's lots of strange swings have happened in the past in week 10.
Yep. And I mean, even if the Sun Devils
True.
lose,
Yeah, Nick's not out of it.
yeah,
No.
and he's playing the Sharks. So, you know, there's an opportunity there for him to put quite a few points on the board there. And does that swing that? That's a 24-point swing that he's going to need on whatever you get.
And his customary 5-5 season.
Yeah.
Well played, Nick. Well played, sir.
Yeah. So even though we haven't looked at their game, I think Scorpions are potentially that third team that I think could be the outsider if it goes wrong for Steve.
Yeah, they're definitely in the mix, aren't they? So
Yeah. Because CFC North could finish, both of those teams could finish 4 and 6. And then it just comes down to that again, to just that points difference, I think, between Scorpions and Kings.
Yep. That's the exciting race to 6th, or the race to one and done, as you might otherwise call it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been very entertaining. I can't remember seeing anything like this for quite a long time in the game.
Yeah, it's good.
One playoff spot.
It's good. It's good to have so much on the last game.
Yeah.
I think it's been skewed by all them all them unbeaten teams. Only 4 unbeaten teams. You don't usually have 4 unbeaten teams in a season.
Yeah, and that's the last bit we've got on
Skewed it.
the games this week is just that number 1 seed thing, because it's quite interesting as well, because this is going to come down to points difference as well, and even potentially points scored. Razorbacks and Spartans, there is only a 5-point difference between those two. Spartans have the whipping boys of the Spitfires. So you've got a great opportunity, I think, Jez, potentially to run up a good score on the Spitfires.
Have you handed the brown envelope over yet, Jez? Or?
Yeah, it slid it under his door when I left hitching today. I couldn't slide it under his door; it was too fat with big notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've given ourselves a good chance now, because we were about 40 points behind last week, but we had a big stuffing against the Aztecs, I think it was, and Razors had a much tougher game against the Baby Bears, who put up a real good fight. So we've clawed that in, and we're only 5 points behind now. So yeah, we'll give it a go. We've got injury to Anja doesn't help. He's not playing. He's sitting this one out. So yeah, we'll have to do it without him, but we'll see. We'll see what we can do.
Yep. And I really do hope you absolutely smash us, because on the opposite end of the scale, Nighthawks are, I think, maybe 15 points or 20 points to the worst, which gives them the number 1 overall draft pick. So if I get absolutely slaughtered this week, that will actually do me a favour and bump me up to the number 1 overall pick, and on the basis I absolutely made a complete hash of the first win incentive.
23 points difference.
23. So yeah. So if that swings that in my favour as well for first overall, I might take that this season. Might as well finish my first 0-10 in style, right?
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the other
Is it
side,
your
we've got,
first 0-10? Oh yeah, you've got FWIs in previous seasons, haven't you?
yeah. No, this is my first 0-10 since I joined in season 13. So, another momentous occasion.
Do we need to wear black armbands on next week's pod?
Yeah, that's why I've got this black shirt on. I'm already in mourning. And then on the other side, Magpies and Heroes. But I think the Heroes here, they've got that point differential bonus already, and they're playing the Stingrays. So I can't see Magpies being able to overturn that one myself. But it's close. It's coming down to the last game of the season. But yeah, again, like you say, Matt, I'm not sure I've been in a season for a while where there's been 4 10-0 teams are going to make the playoffs.
To be honest, I'm not convinced the Magpies will beat the Anacondas. It's not a match.
Yeah, Condas are still beat up.
Yeah, but Dave's obviously going to be playing to win it, so
If they're a full strength team, I think Condas would be right in that game for sure,
Sure.
and it'd
I
be
thought there was a
it'd be a
bit more than
belter. I just think they're missing too many levels with all those injuries.
See. I'm hoping Dave does us a favour anyway, so I can sneak into number 2 by the end.
Well, if the Condas win, they could make the playoffs, couldn't they?
Yeah, I'm sure Dave will be going for it.
Yeah.
And it's not, a win isn't out of the question. Are they at home? They're at home, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so they've got HFA. A few turnovers that go against the Mags and could be the Condas' day. You never know.
You never know. Right, there we go. That's done. Week 9, week 10, going into this final season. Is it? Isn't it? Who knows? So we were going to have a little chat about that, weren't we? So we saw this pop up on. Oh no, not that one.
Not that one.
Not that one.
That's
That was
be on your best behaviour, people.
that was the slap on the wrist one, wasn't it? Right, here we go. So next season. So Richard's posted this up. As we know, this is at the end of the day, this is just a game. So real life pops in there every now and again, throws us a curveball. It was good to see this come up though, because it's good to see what's, if there was actually something going on, what that is. It's good to know that, Rich and Rich are okay. But yeah, just the real life stuff going on. And it could mean we have a slightly longer break between 38 and 39.
Yeah, it's really good of Rich and Rich to post that, just to sort of let people know. I think there was a bit of speculation going around with the fact that there's no draft date out or even provisional date out for the live draft for next season, with the fact that there was no early bird renewals that came up this week, which are in the schedule. Perhaps on the back of the 3-week mid-season break that was unplanned, I think, and there was no kind of notification that came out from that, and which is all very unlike the normal running of the game. So I think they probably stuck out, and people were putting 2 and 2 together. But it's important that we don't come up with 5 when we do that, and speculate on what may or may not be. We know nothing more than that. We know nothing more than what's been written there. What's been really nice though is that there's been some really cool messages that's come from all corners in support of the GMs, and rightly so. Like you said, Greg, it's a game. We all love it. We'd be gutted if it if it went to the wall. We wouldn't mind a break if that's what's needed, of course. But above it all, everyone's health and sanity and whatever else is needed to get through real life is far more important than this very cool but nonetheless game that we play.
Yeah, well said, Jez. I mean, from my point of view, I mean, I've a couple of interesting questions come into my mind. I mean, obviously, the first thing we say, just echo what you said there, Jez, that these two guys have got our full support, and they make our lives better. So good for them, and
Absolutely.
we hope for them. And obviously, I mentioned earlier in the session that if other people have got an enforced break, like coaches, then maybe if they were considering leaving the game, maybe they won't after a bit of a break. So that there's a possible positive from that. But the two sort of interesting conundrums that occurred to me was, would they mothball the? And obviously this is just a question because no one can answer it. Would they mothball the website, or are you going to be able to trade 6 months?
Bloody 6-month trading season.
Yeah, and of course then the follow-up question is it 6 months? Is this going to change the calendar? Would it be half a year, or would it just be like maybe 3 months off or something? Would it change the calendar? Would it change the draft date? All sorts of interesting little conundrums from it.
I actually wonder if you maybe switch the live drafts around. This is a one-off. The next one's an online draft, and then in the summer you have, or spring or whatever, you have the live draft, and then you can switch it back again the following year potentially.
Yeah, or it just skips a year. They'd obviously have to book the Marriott a X amount of weeks, months in advance. So if that's not done for September, then it would obviously depend on their availability. They might look at an alternative venue if they do decide to go ahead with the live draft this year, or they might just skip it for a year. And
Scotland.
bloody Scotland. We need to
The
do
worst
one
of
in
worst Bristol.
do one in the States or do one in Australia or something.
Oh,
Go on a
that's
tour.
it. That's it. Let's go to the States for one.
I think as well. I mean, the whole, the positive coming out of the pandemic was, online draft became something that was a little bit more of a interactive event. It's opened up the opportunity for a lot of other coaches who can't make it to Bristol to be able to get a feel for what that kind of pressure is of picking live and having to make that decision on the spot and seeing that player that you won't go that pick before, and then you've got to on the fly come up with what that backup plan is, which you don't get with online shortlists and things like that. So
But we know what happens there, don't we? We know what happens there, though, Greg. Usually what happens is somebody picks. Greg takes 10 minutes to pick his next pick, and we all have to sat there waiting.
That's all the fun of the fair, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not great. I mean, if you have been to the live draft, you get an appreciation of what it feels like being in the room with 5 leagues picking at the same time and everything that goes with that. Lots of socials before and after the event as well. Beers night before or curry afterwards or anything like that. So those are the big things. I think if you're talking about the community level stuff and getting together and seeing people face to face, you can't beat that. But with it where it is at the moment and potentially needing some space, not having that extra overhead of trying to organise a room and getting 50, 60 people in a room, and also then getting people drafting remotely and the other site that kind of gives live draft picks as well. that's a lot of overhead as well. And if things at the moment are very much kind of, there's no time and space for that, the other priority I have is outside of the game. So, there's options, right?
I was going to say, I think the main thing is that I don't care if it has a 6-month break, as long as it keeps going for a bit longer. That's the only thing for me.
Yeah, and that's the other key. I mean, every time I've ever got to one of those low points where I'm like, do you know what? Fuck this. I've had enough of it. I can't be bothered with this anymore. And then I sit down, I think to myself, do you know what? This isn't going to be here forever. And I don't know how long it's going to be here, because it is run by 2 people who have run this on and off since the 80s in a couple of different forms. And once they have had enough, or they can't do it anymore, the likelihood is it's not going to carry on.
No.
So, it's one of those things. I think it's one of those things where you think about our time in this time and space, and everything that you think about that's around you that's big, and then there's these small spots of time where these things align. This is one of those.
That's worth discussion in itself, perhaps. And it's not something I thought of before you guys have been saying what you've just said there, about succession planning. Is there, there may be a point, like you say, where Rich and Rich think, we either don't want to do it anymore or we can't do it anymore, and that will happen at some point. Is there the possibility to put in a succession plan, or even discuss a succession plan, whereby there's a handover to someone or a group of someones that has the technical capability and the hardware to be able to carry on running the game, and the wherewithal and the desire and the ability time-wise to do that as well? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, really, for whenever that might happen. Not that we want it to happen, obviously, because we'd love for Rich and Rich to carry on and what have you. Those guys are the core of this game. But yeah, just thinking out loud.
Yeah, and that's I think those sort of things are the easy things to replace. If someone got the hardware, someone got the know-how. The bit that's the really hard bit to replace is actually the way in which the Riches approach this game and the people who play it. Because I think about some of the things that I've said and done during my time here, and if I think to myself, well, why did I do that? That was a stupid thing to do. But actually, the way they deal with it is not instantly go, well, that's it, you're out, son. See you later. Never come back.
Yeah.
And it's just that message I clicked on a little bit earlier about, little reminder about the T's and C's. Try and keep it a little bit cool. Try and sort yourselves out. And then we saw the big sky having a little chat about it and saying, yeah, let's just park it and move on. And it's water under the bridge, and then we move on, right? And there's been lots of things like that have happened over the years. And I think a lot of that comes down to the way in which Rich and Rich deal with those things in a way that actually you think, why are those people still here? But it's just that knee-jerk reaction, and they take it in a completely different stance, which I think is vital for this game as well.
Yeah, you're right. The level of diplomacy that they've showed at various points when things like this have flared up has been just spot on to diffuse situations. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I don't know if there would be it would be a real shame at whatever point Rich and Rich do decide that they can't or don't want to carry on, which hopefully isn't now, but whether there is the option of of them handing it over to someone either who's within the game at the moment or someone external to the game. Or I know I've spoken about I've chatted casually with other coaches at various points and said when we've spoken about what would this game be like if it was commercial, if it was run by a gaming company that you paid a subscription to and that that ran it, how would it look there, how would it feel, not run by two chaps doing it as a hobby for the love of it. I don't know. Yeah, again, there's lots of don't knows at this point, and I think it's really important that we don't kind of fuel any fresh fires on that front because there's probably a fair amount of speculation about what might happen, and we're speculating now by the very nature of it. But let's maybe not get too carried away with what might happen because we don't know. Let's let Rich and Rich work it out for themselves. What's best for them first and foremost, as human beings. And if the game needs a break, it needs a break. If it can't continue, it can't continue. If it does continue, it continues. But Rich and Rich come first in deciding that. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think hopefully we'll find something out over the next coming week. I think they're getting together to have a little chat by the sounds of it and try and work out a plan. And again, each time that yellow bar comes down, do you know what? I have no idea how much is manual and how much is automated. I mean, I used to work for a company who said that they had automated their build system. And what that meant was that they had a screen that people put the config in for this system to be set up. And they would press that enter button and it'd go off and say, build has been initiated. And what they would do would print out a sheet in a basement. And then a little fella would come along and he'd rip that piece of paper off. And then he would start configuring that manually each time one of these came through. And then once it was done, he would then send a form back that says your build's complete. Now, to that person who presses that button and says, "Oh, build me this," that is automated. But actually, everything that was going on in the background was just manual. There was just someone else doing it. It wasn't that person who wanted it. It was just the person who asked, was asked to then do that. So again, when the bar comes up and then, oh, why aren't the stats updated? And, why does my player look like he's undrafted and I can't see where he was picked in a draft and his player card isn't there and the stats don't work and why does it sit on processing college stats for so long? All of these sort of things are actually they're probably manual overhead. So again, if it's a case of it just needs a bit of a pause to have a little look, reassess and see what can be done to make that life easier and processing a little bit more straightforward, I think, take the time and hopefully we reap the benefits from a small pause as well. Yeah.
Yep.
The only other random thought I had about this was, before we heard anything, was if you were going to end this would be the way to do it, right?
Yes, you wouldn't tell anybody, would you?
No,
Yeah.
exactly. Can you imagine the carnage? It'd be like, have you seen that film like Don't Look Up, where there's that meteorite coming towards the planet?
Oh
And
yeah.
so it's end of world stuff. And so all of this stuff just starts kicking off and people just doing things they wouldn't do normally. It's like, I'm sitting there thinking, I really don't want to end playing Gridiron on a 5-season losing record and 0-10. How can I turn this round in one final season? Offering the world for things. And so yeah, can you imagine the carnage if it had, even if it was a case of, right, that's it, 3 seasons and we're done. Can you imagine what that would do to the dynamic of the game? Be mad.
Yeah. If they said it was one more
That's
season, and then the
Yeah.
trading season would be lively, to say the least.
Yeah.
You know how you do that. Alternatively, just you'd have to be able to trade coaching points. Because you won't be able to use draft picks as a currency anymore if there's only one season left, would you? You'd have to have some way where you could trade coaching points. That'd be the only way you could buy and sell players at that point, or it'd be just player swaps or player swaps.
Or swaps, yeah. Trade staff, trade everything.
Yeah.
Trade trade seats in your stadium.
Yeah. But I mean, even like things like if there are coaches who are like, well, I'm 2 seasons away and I can't do anything with this. Fuck it, I'll just walk away. Because why would you? If you know that, because you're not coaching for another season or 2 seasons out again, because they're not coming. So if coaching is the only thing that you get, like in a state where I am at the moment, is the only thing you look forward to is coaching each week and seeing what that's going to do and generate that player for another 2 seasons time, and that goes away. What's the point? So yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, and if and when it does, it'll probably one of those ones where it will be like, just don't look up. It'll be over before you know it.
Well, we'll see what they say next week and take it from there, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Right, so that's been a long session tonight. Covered off some good stuff there at the end, and yeah, just hope a plan comes about, and hopefully number one on that plan is that Rich and Rich are taking care of themselves above and everything else, and we see where we come out on the back of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, here.
Right, thanks for joining us, Steve. Really appreciate you coming along. Give us a different voice to listen to, and a lot more knowledge than brought to the redaction this week as well.
Thanks, Greg. My pleasure.
Yeah, cheers, Steve.
All right, good luck, Steve. I hope it goes your way and you make the playoffs, and see you all later.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Hey.
Bye.
Cheers.